And welcome, folks, to another edition of Steady Droppin Dimes. We are back. We are ready to go, ready to turn the page, and glad to not be talking. Man, I spend the opening part of my week reflected upon that Michigan-Indiana game. I'm glad to be turning the page. Turning the page, and talking about something else. Yeah, Mike said, Sam, I hope you're having a great day. It's a better day because we're going to be talking about something else. You know what we're going to be talking about today, folks? We're going to talking about poaching. Talking about poaching. It's time to poach. It's time to poach. DG, is it really? There's no such thing as poaching. That doesn't exist. It's called recruiting. You recruiting from other people's rosters. You can do that in this day and age. You can go shopping on other people's rosters. As long as kids have agents, you can do that. Right? That's what you can do. And so we are going to be talking today about who we like, who we would like to see Michigan potentially go shopping for in certain instances. Hey, and Mike, you need to be on the show. Mike, you need to be on the show. Didn't I just say that? DG, Daniel, didn't I just say?
And we got
I'm lost for words, and that's hard for me to be. That's hard for me to be. Because we were sitting here. Devin was like, man, look at Michigan this year. He was like, look at Michigan this year. Come on, Sam. This some English. What you talking about poaching? And I said, DG. He said, got that checkbook. Didn't I just say that? Before we went live, didn't I just say Michigan got that checkbook? So come on.
Definitely did.
That's exactly what I said. Mike, you auditioning right now, Mike. We might have some cameo appearances for the Steady Droppin Dimes chatters to get some airtime here. But at any rate, let me pause for the cause and say we are brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Underground Printing, in Ann Arbor Original since 2001. When you are looking for your amazing blue apparel, whether it's when you're in town, hang around with the Underground. I say that every week. There are a lot of different, now especially, people are wondering, where do I go? Where do I go for my amazing blue gear? I'm sure you guys have heard it. People don't know. It's like, the staple that have been around for so long. Like, I don't know where to go. It is very easy. Underground Printing, 3 locations here in Ann Arbor for you to check out. We tell you about them all the time. We're gonna even put a map up for you a little bit later on in the show for the locations. But South Main, downtown, and Southview, for all of your maize and blue needs, they can be met. As the weather turns and you need long sleeves and winter apparel, they got you covered there too. Custom apparel. We've been talking about your custom needs. We have custom needs where we're going to need a Steady Droppin Dimes apparel. We're going to bring that to you in the new year. We're going to Underground Printing to get our Steady Droppin Dimes merch. And guess what? You might pretty soon. Not yet. Right now, you can get the turnover buffs, the glasses there. But Will Johnson's turnover department, his merch, his gear. Stuff like this is the type of gear you can get made at Underground Printing. Maybe soon you'll be able to get this. I can't get this hat at Underground Printing yet, but soon you might be able to.
Daniel, we can't get that hat.
I'm holding this hat up as an example of the kind of gear you can get made at Underground Printing. Like whether it's your office gear or team gear, any kind of custom gear you might need, you can get over Underground Printing. And I'm also holding this up because a lot of people were like, oh, Will, he's mailed it in for the season. He's done. It's over. That's not the case. It was always the case when he got hurt at Illinois. It was always the case that bye week. After the bye week, he was planning to come back after the bye week based on the severity of the injury and the pace of the rehab, that he was going to come back after the bye week, play against Northwestern, come back, and then obviously be ready for Ohio State. That was the plan, and if things continue to go according to plan, that's what they'll do. So we'll see how it goes. But first of all, let me welcome the crew. DG, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. It's always good to see you, Sam. Hear your vent, and I love when you and Daniel go at it a little bit because you don't cheers as the basketball analyst, man, and I'm sick of you disrespecting him.
Disrespecting who? Who was I disrespecting? I wasn't disrespecting anybody. I wasn't disrespecting anybody. I was spending my time with Lucy Guo yesterday. I was spending my time with Lucy Guo talking about this big deal that Michigan just made, where they're bringing. First of all, did you see that her company passes dropped 7 figures? Dropped seven figures on Michigan up front. This for this NIL deal, and it's a direct deal with Michigan. First of all, that will allow for the Michigan brand, so the Block M and Michigan, to be used, student athletes to use the trademark, the brand, when they go to represent for whatever company, on their in their content creation on the Passes platform. They can wear the Block M. They can say, hey, I'm Will Johnson, Michigan cornerback, and he can actually be wearing Michigan gear in whatever it is he's doing, whether it's the Bose or whatever, Beats headphones. He could be wearing Michigan stuff in his promotions on the Passes platform, just like whoever. It might be, Libby Dunn's on the platform, for instance. Well, Will Johnson, while he's still in college, if he's on their platform, on the Passes platform, it's kind of like people keep calling it OnlyFans. It's not OnlyFans. It's kind of like OnlyFans, but it's not OnlyFans. Passes is a platform that is a content creators platform that you see celebrities and student athletes now at Texas and now at Michigan. They can use it as their content creator platform that can house their video content, their merch, and it's their content creator access point to be able to communicate with their fans, and now their brand headquarters to be able to work with advertisers. And now also Passes has all these advertisers. They can go directly to advertisers and say, look, you want to work with Will Johnson? We got him right here. You want to work with Silas Swords? We got her right here. You want to work with KG? We got him right here. And you can use him in his Michigan gear. Man, this is next level stuff. And then she said, oh, y'all need some bread for Bryce. Oh, okay. Here you go. I got y'all on that too. A little separate over here. I got y'all some bread for Bryce too. Some bread for Bryce to help keep Bryce home. So I mean, they came in the door like you want them to come in the door, Daniel.
Yeah. No, that's impressive. 7-figure payout to start the partnership, a platform for the athletes to go and promote their brands. It sounds like a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. That's the way you want to have it happen, and then to have them have a sort of a guide, because a lot of these dudes, hey, companies, come work with me, and the company says, okay, yeah, represent my brand. And what does that mean? Oh, go tweet about me. It's like they have no idea what it is to represent a brand. Well, now you have someone to walk you through that process and a platform to actually do it on. That's not just Twitter. That's not just, okay, well, go on Instagram and post about it. Well, okay, well, you need some content creation. Who's going to walk you through all of that? Well, Passes is going to help them do all of that. This is a really next level thing for the student athletes at the University of Michigan. I think it's going to help them out a lot, and maybe it'll help Michigan in their endeavor with Bryce. We'll see. People keep asking, is there an update? Man, it's the same. It's the same thing. There's no change. He went down there. Did he shut his recruiting down when he went down to LSU? No. Did he come back and say, I'm coming to Michigan? No. It's the same. Status quo. Status quo. Money's not the issue. What the issue for Michigan is, he's looking at this offense. So what do you do? What do you do if you're Michigan? If you're Sharon, it's like I said before. You're saying, you can tell him, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then he can look at you and say, okay, once you do whatever it takes, what comes next?
Yeah.
That's where you are. That's where you are. So that moves us to our next stage. So, fellas, I wanted to talk to you two about poaching. Let's talk about who, because last week we were talking about the portal.
Mhm.
We were talking about guys we expected to go in the portal. But what about guys who we haven't heard are headed to the portal, right? Guys who, hey, we might want to check the temperature on and say, well, we might have a better opportunity for you. So you might want to jump in the portal. Because that goes on, DG. Let's not be naive, brother. Don't be DG, don't be naive. Why do you have that naive look on your face, man? You're acting like that doesn't go on, DG. Why are you acting like that?
I've said nothing. I don't understand why you're attacking me.
I'm reading the look on your face.
My look on my face is just the face I was born with. I mean, my goodness, Sam.
It looks like Sam.
It's written all over your face.
It is written all over his face, isn't it, Daniel?
R&B.
No, nothing is written. I'm telling you, literally nothing is written. I'm just listening to your soliloquy. That's all I'm doing. I have nothing to say. I have nothing. I am nothing, and my face says nothing.
Hey, I see your eyebrows twitch, brother.
Hey, first of all, can we imagine DG if he had a content creator platform back in the day when he was in college?
Hey, I used to make a lot of content. I used to be having some fun stuff. I was before my time, man. We used to be in that locker room creating great content. Great content.
I would have loved to have seen DG in the locker room if Drew Dillio tried to step to him in the locker room. I would have loved to have seen that.
Look at his face. Look at his face now. Ooh, you struck a nerve with that one, Sam.
Okay. Oh, to the next one. Hey, I had to drop that one. I had to drop that one because he said, hey Sam, what you just talking to his agent?
Damn, he got you back, D. He said, I'll wait till we turn this camera off.
Hey man, Sam, I ain't messing with Sam, man. Sam can do what he gonna do, man. It is what it is, man. The past is the past, and I move forward. I don't know why Sam keep living in the past.
All right. Ooh, okay.
Hey Ben, I got a good video coming your way from back in the day, my content creation days.
Can we show it? Can we?
Yeah.
We can actually show it.
Yeah.
Is it airable?
Yes.
We can air it on Dropping Dimes.
Yes, we can air it on Dropping Dimes, man. It's hilarious.
All right, we'll see if we can air it on Dropping Dimes. Okay. So, who should they target from a poaching standpoint, especially if this effort doesn't work? What if people keep asking, what if they don't get Bryce? What if this push, this massive effort, because, Lucy, she's just part of the effort. She made it a point to say, I'm just a part of it. It's not like I'm coming in and I'm the reason, I'm the one behind the effort to get Bryce. I'm just a contributing factor. There are others that have contributed even more. So that tells you how they're getting down. Right. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, that all that doesn't work. People keep saying, well, what's the backup plan? Well, DG, I got some targets out there. And I want to start off asking you about a guy you just saw.
Hold on, time out. Can I just say this before we even get started on all these people? This bye week is the most important bye week in the history of Michigan football. I know this is a big statement, huge statement, This is the most important bye week in the history of Michigan football. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason is, if out of this bye week, it looks anything like we saw out of the last bye week, all this talk about poaching and transfer portal, you might as well just shut it down. Because everybody's going to look and say, okay, we're going to let the first one slide. We let the whole season slide, right? Hey, you didn't know, you underestimated. You didn't know what you had and what you didn't have. Cool. All right, we'll let the first bye week slide. Bet you still was whatever. It's the end of the season. Another bye week, and this is your chance to make a bowl game. That means you have to put your absolute best plan. Every football mind has to be in cahoots to make sure that this is the best plan you've had all year, so that you can get those extra 15 practices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you come out against a team that in Northwestern that they're trying to fight to maybe make a bowl game as well at some point this year. If you come out and it looks anything, I'm talking about anything like what it looked like after the last bye week, this conversation is moot.
Yeah.
Period. But we can have it.
Yeah,
you were saying
they got to make a. They got to make
at that point. It's time to make a change, though, right? I'm never the guy that likes to say coaches should lose their jobs or coaches should be fired, because I've been a coach before. I understand it's your livelihood. But if it's costing you games and now it's costing you recruits in the portal and on the high school recruiting trail, then you got to make a change, right?
What you
I
mean?
ain't in all that. All I want to say is it needs to look different. If you plan on getting Bryce Underwood, if you plan on getting poaching, all that.
No, I'm talking not head coach. Heck no, that's not that. Whoever's suggesting that is sicko. Well, I mean, as far as like your offensive stuff, I'm not saying.
I think I think we are already at the stage. It is inevitable that there, in my opinion, I think it's inevitable there are going to be staff changes.
Yeah,
that's a given. Now, what specific staff members are going to be moved? TBD.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any question he's going to, because you're going to have to, you can't fall this short of expectations and expect that everything's going to be the same. Just like you've seen players be moved in and out of the line. You can't look at this and say it's all the players. Right? You can't look at that. That'd be unrealistic. So, I think after the season, he looks at it from top to bottom and says, you got to assess each position and say, man, is this really, did we get everything that we should have gotten or close to it? Can I expect this to get tangibly better next season as we move forward, right?
It's hard to get even a portal quarterback if you can't show that, those changes or that, that ability to change. You're not, like Devin said, this is a moot conversation.
Yeah, so
let's do it.
This dropping down, so we'll have it, baby.
Let's do it.
Right. So
let's do it.
We get frank. We get frank and we talk about it, which is why we're talking. It's why we're talking about poaching. This goes on. Right? And so you saw a quarterback last weekend, Devin, and you came back from your time that you spent with Al Borges. Sounds like it was a grand old time that you had out in Boise, that you had hanging with Coach Borges. But both of y'all saw a quarterback that Borges said, yeah. First of all, he was very confident. She said, man, Sam, Devin's a star. He did. He
ain't tell me that, but thank goodness you tell the truth.
Hey, man, no bull. He said, man, Sam, Devin's a star. He said, man, Devin's gonna be bigger than Reggie Bush.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that ain't Sam much.
Hey, they need to replace Mark Ingram and put Devin Gardner on there. Him too.
He said Devin's a star. So he was really impressed. He was like, man, he keeps saying he's gonna be at the top over there. So, but you guys saw a quarterback out there in Nevada where you.
So he had the same feeling I had.
He had the same feeling you had.
Dude, this kid was really good, man. I was so impressed. And I was impressed with his film and stuff like that. But even to this point in the season, I hadn't seen a game where he was under such pressure. And it was probably because the talent level that he played in this game, obviously Boise is like they're significantly more talented than everybody in the Mountain West, and they were hitting him. He was under duress, and when I tell you his ability to move, protect himself in the run game, his ability to be dynamic in the run game, I think he had the fifth most rushing yards of all quarterbacks in college football. Going into that game, and it was super impressed to watch a guy who has great ability to run, but also doesn't have to lean on that ability to be successful. Now, they had to, just because their receivers were dropping passes and different things like that, so they started to, run him a little more, which, it puts him in more danger. But, dude, I'm talking about big arm. I'm talking about left hash, come back on the other side, right, across the field, outside throws, outside the numbers, right, navigating throws inside the numbers, and deep throws, everything you wanted. He put it on display against competition that was much better than the players he was playing with. They've got a lot of injuries as well. So, yeah, I mean, I was super impressed.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he like a 67% passer?
Yeah.
You pull up his stats, Ben?
Yeah, and his improvement from last year to this year is the most impressive thing, right? That's what you want to see. You want to see a guy improve and get better. And last year, his completion percentage wasn't great. He turned the ball over more than he had touchdowns. And this year, it's just like the total opposite. And it's a little tougher because their team isn't as good. So it's really impressive, really impressive. And I don't know if he will leave or if that's because he's gotten himself to a really good place with that coaching staff, and that coaching staff believes in him, right? And so that'll be hard to have a kid that has finally found a coaching staff that he trusts and believes in him to get him to move across the country and go play for a team that if they don't show after this bye week, he gonna be like, well, now I'm with a bad team against better competition. That's not what you want.
What conference are they in? What's that? The
Mountain West.
Mount West. Playing in obscurity. You want a bigger stage, right?
Yeah, and, I mean, it wouldn't be,
by the way,
Yeah.
And by the way, that check. That's
true.
Because we were just talking about that. Those bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be, especially if number 19, if it doesn't come through, you're gonna have to spend some of that. All that money's not gonna be available, but you're gonna have some money available.
The one thing I challenge Sharon and everybody on the staff and whoever's going to be new on the staff, whatever the case may be, the one thing I challenge for them is you can't make this entire thing transactional, right? Because if you do that, now you're going to put yourself in a position where you're getting guys who don't work well with the other guys, right? So no matter how talented an individual player could be, he won't work well with his other teammates, right? He won't deal well with getting all this money and being able to be in a locker room with guys who aren't getting that much money, right? So they've got to do their due diligence and make sure it's not just transactional and make sure that they can somehow sell transformational, right? You're not only going to get paid here. We're going to develop you. We're going to, put you in positions to live your ultimate dream. And that's why I said this bye week is the most important bye week in the history of Michigan football, man, because this is an opportunity to make it so it's not just transactional. Because I'm just telling you, man, just transactional is not going to work. It's not. It's not going to work. You're just paying all this money to guys. First of all, the reason most people are really good at football, some people are born just super talented, way better. But the reason most people are good at football, the reason I was good at football is because I desperately wanted to reach a goal, right? Making money, playing NFL, whatever the case may be. I desperately wanted to reach a goal. Well, if you give a guy money like he would get in the NFL, what is his compelling reason to continue to get better, to study as hard as he might have studied to make him such an attractive person that you would want on your roster, right? That's all the things you have to think about. So you got to get the right guys to make sure that this thing doesn't turn into, we're just paying a bunch of guys, wasting everybody's money, and they are not contributing the way we think they should or the way that we need them to. And the guys that are actually trying to make it transformational, we're losing those guys too. Because we're just paying all these people, and the transformational guys are like, well, I'm going to have a chance because you're paying them all that money.
Yeah, it's a balance. Yeah, it's
tough. It's a tough balance. But like you talked about, I don't know if you said it when we were on here or before when we were just talking, that's why you get paid that money as a coach. That's why you get paid all that money, so you can make it work. You have to find a way. And there are coaches around the country that are doing an outstanding job of it. And there are other coaches that just aren't doing a very good job of it. We don't know for Sharon because it's only year one. And I think his eyes are a little bit more open, right? He can step back and see, okay, these are some things I should have done better. Obviously, should have got a quarterback. Obviously, need more talent and speed and different things on the outside. However, after this, there will be no excuses. And that's unfortunate, but you got to make sure you get it right.
Yeah. That's why he's paid the big bucks, right? You got to figure that out. You got to be able to strike that balance in the locker room. You got to be able to take.
You want to know a cool thing? You want to know a cool thing? I just got done with meetings. I got Cincinnati, Iowa State this week. And Coach Satterfield, this is what he did. He had the leaders on his team, the big ones, the leaders. Like, so say it was last year they were doing this. It'll be Mason Graham. It'll be Will Johnson, right? Guys like that. He had every guy that they were recruiting in the transfer portal. Firstly, he met with all the seniors, leaders, and said, "Hey, what do we need, right? From your perspective, what do we need, right?" They all gave their honest opinions, and any guy that they were recruiting or they thought they wanted to get, they had them vetted by the leaders on the team, right? And he said so many of those leaders said, "Nah, we don't want that guy. He don't match. He won't be able to do it." And then others like, "Yes, that is our guy." And Cincinnati is a significantly better football team this year. He said his mistake in year one, right, was just paying a bunch of guys and bringing guys in, and nobody meshed, right? So Cincinnati was a terrible team. They spent money, but they were a terrible team. This year, I don't know if they spent more or less, but the way they went about it is significantly different, and I think that's the way to go, right? You got to have these players involved because the head coach isn't around these guys. It's the guys in the locker room that are going to have to deal with these new personalities. It's the guys in the locker room that are going to have to deal with on the field if this guy makes a mistake or if he's not giving everything he's got, because you can't lie to your teammates, right? So I think that whoever their leaders are, or whoever they think their leaders going to be next year, have to be heavily involved in these transactions, right? So that they're not just transactions, and the guys that they get match what they're trying to build in the locker room.
Yeah, I think that was a big part, for instance, in like getting to do Daniel like Josiah Stewart. He was Mikey Sainristel's guy, and they were able to get him.
Might be the best pickup we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
You know, because
he got somebody to walk him in the locker room,
right? So, you know, you had some connections, guys that they had connections to. The Darius Hinton was another guy that they had a connection to, like that they were able to say, "Hey, we know him, we got a connection to him, we, you know, recruited him." Olu Atimi was a guy they had a connection to, and kind of had an idea how he would kind of mesh. So you do have to be mindful of that it's not just that you're laying money down to bring a guy in. But listen, this is my philosophy. You paid a lot of money to be able to figure this out. Paid a lot of money to be able to figure this out. And if it doesn't work, you
said it, not me. Yeah.
So you got to figure it out. I'm just, if it was hard, if it was hard, then everybody could do it. If it was easy, everybody could do it, right? It's hard. That's why you paid a lot of money. So I hear what you're saying, DG, and you're right. And maybe that's something that as a coach, you see it working over there, copy that, apply it, see if it can work for you too. But because it is something that you have to be mindful of. But yeah, you got to use, this is an advantage. Your checkbook as an advantage for Michigan. You use it. And I think Brendon Lewis is very intriguing because he is an efficient passer.
Yeah.
He's an efficient passer, but
with his dynamic running ability.
Right. That's what I was about.
Dynamic, not like, oh, he can get us. No, he might hit the home run on you. Plus efficient passer. That's like something that just doesn't come around often.
Right. And he was, you know, you look at him. I mean, Nevada is, but he's keeping them in games.
They're in every game. 4 of their 7 losses came by 5 or less points. Like, they're in it. But, you know, it's tough when, you know, it's they got a lot of injuries, different things like that too. But like you said, he's the guy. He's the catalyst. He's keeping them in football games, and it's super impressive. So
he would be an example, frankly, of a guy I would try to poach even if you get Bryce. Like, because he'd be a 6th year guy. He'd be a 6th year guy. So He's a 1-year guy like that you would be going after like a Miller Moss, for instance, who everyone expects to be in it. So he would be of that ilk, but at the same time, DG, one of your issues with Miller Moss is you say you're getting a pocket guy. You aren't getting a guy who's going to be an improv guy, and that's one of the reasons why if you believe Lincoln Riley, that's one of the reasons why Miller Moss is on the bench right now.
Well, the thing about that, though, I think he'd be able to have some success if you get some weapons around him in this offense. Because when you watch the film, as much as we're like, the offensive line needs to be better and things like that, there are a lot of instances where there's time to throw and you may get hit while you're throwing, and we just aren't doing it. And the one thing we know about Miller Moss is he will stand in there and take a hit. And he's not a complete statue, right? He's not like Brendon Lewis. He's not like even Hal Georgie for that matter. However, he's not a statue, right? He can move around and create plays off schedule, but you're not going to lean into that as the main thing. But like I said, as long as you get a couple athletes around him, he's shown the propensity to be able to stand in there and make throws while being hit. So I don't think that Miller Moss will be a bad choice. I don't think that his inability to hit the home run as a runner is a problem.
Yeah. That you raise a great point. I try to be fair to everybody in this in the scenario when you talk about Michigan. Listen, this is not the ideal scenario offensively. Some of it, a lot of it, is of their own doing. Some of it they were saddled with. Like, look, the last couple of years, as far as recruiting is concerned, it did not leave the cupboard loaded. And there were reasons for that we've gone over, whether it was the more serious NFL dalliances, but combined with, I think, an even bigger issue for Michigan in those cycles, which was NIL. And Michigan was not seriously involved in NIL to the degree that they are now. And that cost them. And you see it in recruiting. And I think it leaves holes in the roster and more tangibly on the offensive side. But then when you get to the end of the cycle, they did not go at a quarterback in the portal. They waited too long on JJ. They did not go at a quarterback in the portal. Then when Jim leaves, as we've been over before, they made a decision that they had enough in the quarterback room that they didn't need to just grab anyone in the portal. And I would argue, I think you guys would agree, anyone in the portal at that point would be better than no one. Anyone. But in retrospect, should have poached. Should have done exactly what I'm talking about right now. Go poach from someone's roster, because you can do that. Anyone with it's not even point. This is what is done.
Sam. What about the kid from James Madison? Have you seen him, Devin? I don't think he started. I know we put a big emphasis on not turning the ball over, right? I don't think the kid has thrown an interception all year. They put 70 points
I never
on
trust
North
guys
Carolina.
that don't throw any interceptions. I don't trust them.
Okay.
How are you not throwing interceptions, right? Like a point guard, you got the ball all the time. You've never turned the ball over. That means you're not creating. You're not doing enough, right? You're not trying to, do things. You're just doing the safe all the time. I don't love a guy that doesn't throw interceptions.
I think he has like 21 TDs. 21 TDs and 2 interceptions. I apologize. 325 rush yards and 5 touchdowns rushing.
Yeah, and you got to know James Madison in their conference is like Michigan as far as money and resources and all that. He got a clear advantage. I wouldn't trust
they put 70 on North Carolina earlier this year. So
yeah, so think about that. You get and that's against North Carolina. Imagine when you go back to your conference. You like, I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I can't trust that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my one concern, whether it's James Madison, dude, or Brendon Lewis, is just like we were talking about last week with the Liberty dude whose name is escaping me. Apologize. What's my man's name? We were talking about last week from Liberty.
Caden Salter.
Caden Salter, yeah. Level of competition. Would he be able to adapt to the level of competition right now? Mm-hmm. Like ready to be a dude right now? That would be my only hesitation But I'm trusting my man DG's eye, and I'm trusting my man Al Borges' eye. Al was like, man, Devin's right. Like that dude, that dude is like that. And Caden Salter's not running around like Brendon Lewis. He's not as efficient either.
Nope.
And so that has me like, hey.
With a better roster, by the way.
Yeah, so that's intriguing. And that's a guy that if I'm Michigan, I'm finding out who his agent is.
I'm gonna be honest. He probably don't have one right now. Because he's not a high. Like I said, he had more interceptions than touchdowns. He was in a bad place a year ago. And so nobody's checking for him. He's actually not supposed to be the starter. He won the job because he came back an entirely different quarterback, right? Like this isn't the hey, he got an agent, he asked for more money. He's lucky to be a starter there, right? Yeah. So I mean that's going to change, I think, because agents are going to see how talented he is. I'm pretty sure maybe some of them see the show or whatever, but especially they were on primetime television a week ago, right? Against a Heisman Trophy candidate. Everybody watched that. Well, a lot of people watched that. Somebody's going to see like, wait a minute, that quarterback is really, really good. He maybe shouldn't be at Nevada.
Yeah. So another dude that I've talked about before, people say there's no way he's going in the portal, and they might be right. But I'm taking the temperature because I just don't know what the quarterback situation is like down there in College Station. Like, who's the guy? Who's the guy in College Station? Is Marcel Reed the guy? Is he the dude now? Have they decided that he is definitely the guy moving forward? Now, I think he's like that. You know, I think Marcel Reed laid the blueprint for what we just saw Jalen Milroe do to LSU last week. You watch, man, wow. that was what the reason I picked LSU. I mean, the reason I picked Bama was Marcel Reed. I knew Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, about you saw Marcel Reed run all over LSU the same way.
Right. But it wasn't the same way. It wasn't the same
way.
It
wasn't the same, but he dominated LSU with less snaps, but it was the same blueprint.
Man, Jalen Milroe.
He was looking like a creative player.
Jalen Milroe was looking like Denard against Notre Dame back in 2010.
Can me say something? Hey, let's not ever compare anyone on our roster to Jalen Milroe ever again, because that's been come up in the chat a lot. That kid has another gear that a lot of the skill position players on our team don't have, and that's not a knock to our skill position players because they're good, but that kid has another gear that's.
You breaking up there, Daniel? But Denard, didn't he look like the Denard gear?
A bigger.
Yeah, your internet connection kind of went to pot there, but he looked like Denard running away from them. Like he
looked like for sure.
Yeah, he got to the second level, and it was like cancel Christmas. They had no hope. But Marcel Reed, it was just interesting. Like the musical chairs. He's the backup. He's the guy. I would put feelers out because he is a very intriguing. Have you watched him at all from A&M, DJ?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, man. He gives you Jalen Milroe vibes. He's not Jalen Milroe, obviously, but he gives you some Jalen Milroe vibes, and he has some years. He has some years left. So that's a dude I would definitely throw some feelers out for. He's a name that I mentioned here before, and people are like, oh, there's no way. Well, at the time that I mentioned him, he was on the bench. He was the clear backup. Now it's a little more foggy. I don't even know I don't know if they know. It's more like a two. I don't know what they're doing down there. They're winning. Their dynamic works, but I would offer him the opportunity. Like, look, you're the guy, no question. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're the dude that we're riding with, and we're going to build everything around you, is what I would offer him. Now, that's not a scenario that he steps into if you're bringing in a quarterback that you're going to be ready to hand the reins to in a year. if not right away, right? But if you don't get Bryce, well, then it becomes a lot more tenable. So that's one that I would definitely be trying to poach. And then one last name before we get some basketball takes from Daniel before he gets out of here. How about this name as a blast from a past? DG and Daniel. This dude is definitely on the bench. What about CJ Carr?
It'd be a great story. It'd be a great story.
Got the right last name.
You know, obviously he was a Elite 11 guy, and I had been around him a bunch before he even Elite 11 and all that since he was a little kid. And I remember on the Elite 11 circuit, all the coaches, me included, when we finished and we're like, hey, who's gonna be the guys? Who's gonna be the 20 or so guys? We like want to think like who was the best pure thrower we've seen, right? Not necessarily passer just because you can't no defense or whatever, but who was the best, like the prettiest thrower we've seen? And it was unanimous. It was CJ Carr. And honestly, I don't think it was very close in that year. So knowing that, right, he didn't figure out how to throw a football. Right now, the other stuff you have to figure it out. But it would be a very – I can tell you right now, he'd be the most talented guy in the room, bar none, right now as a thrower. Right now, being a passer, standing in, taking shots while you're throwing, and he does have some athletic ability. I think he'll have more athletic ability, much more than Davis Warren, and be able to move around, and he does a nice job of creating, right? He's a natural baseball player, so he's got the arm angles, different things like that. It's just the other stuff that you just don't know about because all we know is he's played high school football and he was good at Saline. Well, I don't trust it. I don't trust that. You can't bank everything off of playing high school football in the state of Michigan. And so you'd have to figure out, is he at this level? Does that talent and that ability to throw the football, does it translate? Right. And I can't say 100% absolutely it translates. However, right, the clay mold, it's a much better mold, right, to start with. Right. So your statue's not going to end up like Dwayne Wade's. Right. The mold to start is much better. And I think that if they can mold it, that could be a good choice as well.
Well, listen, they said, why didn't you recruit him before? Matt Weiss. That's why. You didn't recruit him before because Matt Weiss.
It's 2024. That doesn't even matter. That's not like, why didn't you recruit him before? It don't matter. Right? He can recruit him now. None of that matters. This ain't the old days where, you didn't recruit this guy. And no, nobody's holding any grudges. And they did recruit him. It wasn't hard or whatever, but they did recruit him.
Well, why didn't they really recruit him? Matt Weiss. Simple as that. So you're in a position now where you're going to need competition, like legitimate competition in that quarterback room. And Jaden Davis might well be your guy. He might well be your guy, but you need competition to render
100%.
that. You need competition to render that. It can't just be by default.
That's the only way you get better, man. Iron sharpens iron. It's kind of cliche. Everybody uses it, but it's real. If I'm super talented and Daniel's a quarterback and he's not very talented and I'm going up against him every day, I don't get any better, right? If Daniel's is super talented point guard and I ain't nothing, right? I can't guard. I can't really handle the rock as well. So on defense and offense, he's just dogging me. Daniel's not getting better. Nope. You understand that? So you have to compete against people who are threatening. The reason I improved so much on my time before I even got to play live reps in the games is because every day in practice, I'm fighting to be even close to what Denard was able to be, right, in live games, right? So that's a real thing. And if you don't have that, right, like who's competing against who? That's not iron sharpening iron. That's like paper sharpening paper right now in that room, right? Nobody knows who's the guy. Nobody knows. Nobody's ultra talented and things like that. So you have to figure out how to create and breed that competition, because if you don't, there's no way. There's no way for you to be successful and for those guys to really reach the peak that they can get to whatever their talent would take them.
Yeah. It shall be interesting. These are just, you talk about poaching, man. You talking about poaching, you're going to have to build different rooms. back up. These are just some ideas, some names that popped up. What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna poach? And they're gonna be thinking about the same thing at different positions, and you're gonna have to do that before you can even think about receivers. Like people are asking about Jonte Cook, for instance. Like, hey, Sam, tell them to go after. Of course, they would have some interest in Jonte Cook. You can't begin to recruit him before you have a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Facts.
Before you have a quarterback scenario, right? You gotta have a quarterback scenario that he looks at and says, okay,
I can trust that.
Right, I can trust that. Right. He's not gonna look at it right now.
Hey,
And be like,
that's a DeSoto
Hey, I
kid.
just sit on this bench. I just sit on this bench over here or go somewhere else.
Hey, that's a DeSoto kid, Sam. Tell. I know you plugged in with the staff. Whoever it is you communicate with, let them know I could walk them into Duncanville and DeSoto tomorrow, and they got it. It's up to them to do the rest. But I could walk them in there, and we could get some good players now.
Hey man, Jonte, they were in that one legit, but receivers.
Yeah, I'm gonna revisit it.
Michigan, it's amazing that they got Andrew Marsh. That's a hell of a recruiting job to get Andrew. And let me just tell you, that was an unbelievable recruiting job to get Andrew Marsh because top 100 receivers, they would get to a certain point with them, and then they're like, man, y'all don't throw the ball, and who are y'all recruiting at quarterback?
Yep.
That's what they would say. It's like, no, I'm not even. And then it was y'all don't throw the ball. Who are y'all recruiting a quarterback and y'all don't pay? Stop it. I'm not messing with y'all at all. There was no way they were recruiting top receivers. No way. It's like two hands behind your back, on your knees, bent over backwards. I mean, just ridiculous. So anyway, underground printing, Ann Arbor original since 2001. Listen, when you need your maize and blue apparel, it is the place to go. They have 3 locations in Ann Arbor. You need only go if you are shopping online to undergroundshirts.com. We always put the link in the description that will take you to the Michigan branded apparel. But it's important that you note that it's not just Michigan branded apparel that you can get in underground printing. And by the way, there are locations in Ann Arbor, are South Main, downtown, and Southview. Again, South Main, downtown, and Southview. It is important to also note that custom apparel, though, that is what they're known for. While maize and blue apparel, Michigan branded apparel, is what this is a Michigan. Obviously, you Michigan fans, this is what you come for. You're on a hunt for. This is what you need. This is what you want. Certainly, a lot of you have those custom needs, right? Just like we do. We're going to be 24/7. For instance, when I need 24/7 gear made, or if I need Droppin Dimes gear made, you can go to Underground Printing. If Will Johnson in the future, because I'm gonna let you in on something. What if in the future, I'm just gonna give you a hypothetical. Let's say Will in the future was gonna keep the Turnover Buffs brand going for future generations of Michigan players. And he was gonna have them rep the Turnover Buff brand, right? Like this. He was going to have them repping it, right? Different guys repping the line. And he needed that apparel to continue to be made. You could go to Underground Printing and have them print your custom gear. This is what they're known for. So it could be your office gear. It could be your team gear. Whatever you might need, your custom needs can be met at Underground Printing from anywhere in the country. You don't have to be in Southeast Michigan. You could be anywhere. You can send them the design. They can make it all up and have it taken care of. That is the Underground Printing difference. They can take care of you. I always say, take care of who takes care of you. That is Underground Printing. Whether it's your Michigan branded apparel, which you see popping up on the screen right now, all of your amazing blue needs can be met by Underground Printing, but your custom needs can be met too. Of course, your turnover buffs, the glasses. Yes, I know I keep showing the turnover department gear. I just showed that as an example of custom apparel, the type of which like you can get made at Underground Printing.
So what you're saying is I can go to Underground Printing and get me a hoodie for the winter that says "That's irresponsible."
I'm not.
Hey man, all the stuff I said was irresponsible is coming true. It was super irresponsible.
So I finally go get me a DG hoodie that says, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get it made. It's gonna say "That's irresponsible." Devin Gardner on the front.
We're gonna get some different sayings. We're gonna get y'all saying dropping dimes.
It's just so applicable in many different areas of life. I think I use that with my kids now.
See, now I gotta get a two straps hat.
Hey, you know what's irresponsible, Sam? Going somewhere other than Underground Printing to get your Underground Printing. That's irresponsible.
That's irresponsible. See, I told you it's applicable, Sam. I'm telling you.
It is. We're gonna have all kind of merch. And y'all better.
You know what's also irresponsible, Sam? Holding hostage gear that was meant for two people on the show. It's irresponsible, especially when I see you every Monday. But go ahead.
Did I see this Monday? No, I didn't. Hey, this is one. John Wall said we got to get one that says play goofy games, get goofy prizes.
That's my deal. That's a DGism. I'm just telling you.
That is definitely one that we
play goofy games. You win goofy prizes.
Hey, Daniel, before you go, man, Michigan basketball, 2 games under their belt. Your initial impressions in this young Michigan basketball season of the Michigan basketball team?
I like what I see so far. It's about what I expected. They're gonna with the talent that they've accumulated and the pace that they play at, they're gonna beat a lot of the lesser teams on their schedule just because they do a lot of good stuff. They shoot the ball well, they play fast in transition, they share the ball really well. But I think the challenge for them moving forward for the rest of the season, what's gonna determine if they're a bubble team or a tournament team or whatever, is how many of those games, like the Wake Forest game, can they end up pulling out, right? And that's a challenge for a team with 15 new guys. So now if you got 15 really talented guys like kind of Kentucky put together, you can go out and beat a Duke in the first week of the season, right? But I think for us, our challenge is what does that look like for Michigan? How do we defend at the end of games? What are we going to go to offensively at the end of the games, whether it's a concept or whether it's a play or whatever? What are we going to go to at the end of the games to get a good shot? And I think once they figure out that, and I don't want to single anybody out, but cut down on the turnovers and I think they'll be fine. But I think that's going to be a challenge when you have guys who haven't played together before. It's going to be and you want to play fast too. It's going to be a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, so Tim and I were talking about on the Michigan Basketball Insider. He's convinced that they're going to be a good 3-point shooting team. I like to see that they're going to shoot a lot of them. So that's not even that far-fetched looking at how many they're going to put up. They're going to run a lot, and I think their running game is going to generate a lot of offense. But I asked him, Daniel, and I'm going to put the same question to you. What are they going to be able to bank on in the half court? Like, I feel like even though we didn't see it in the first couple games, like Vlad Golden and Roddy Gale and a 2-man game with those two. I feel like that's something as the season evolves, we're going to be able to bank on that in the half court.
Yeah.
But outside of that, what do you think they're going to be able to bank on? And do you agree that they're going to be able to bank on that even?
I think that's probably going to probably the most sure thing that they can bank on, right? Because those are 2 proven players, right? Roddy Gale has proven that he can score and make plays in the Big Ten, and Vlad Golden is a proven entity on a national level, having been part of 2 tournament runs. So I think you're headed down the right path with that 2-man game. But for me, I'm just a big believer in your point guard has to be involved at the college level at the end of the game, your point guard has to be involved in whatever you're doing because he's the guy he's the initiator on offense and he's the first line of defense on defense, right? So if your point guard is not really involved, it's going to be hard, right? Because you have to, if he's not involved, the ball has to touch too many people's hands in crucial situations to get to where you want to get to. And that can lead to, like you said, the turnovers where we see guys handling the ball in areas where, they may think they can do it, but at this level, man, it takes a lot to be a playmaker and a ball handler. I think for me, the more Trey Donaldson becomes more aggressive, looking for his offense and to make plays, getting 2 feet in the paint and making plays for people, you don't really have to rely on one thing at the end of a game. I know I can give the ball to my point guard and he's going to get us in a good set or get us a good shot. So for me, I think the better, and that's going to make Roddy Gale a better player, but I think for me, the more that Donaldson and Kaysen and these guys are able to make plays and deliver in those situations as a coach, it makes it easier for what you can call and what you can draw up.
Yeah, Trey said, hey, I'm a scorer. Like when I asked him about, hey, man, people view you as a pass first guy. And he was like, hey, what? I'm like, I'm not trying to offend you, brother. That's what they say. I'm not saying that's you. That's just the perception. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? He said, no, I appreciate that, but I'm a scorer. Okay, so this is your opportunity to obviously show that. Yeah. But back to your other point, you were talking about the turnovers. Look, they clearly want Danny Wolf to be a facilitator. They want some offense to flow through him. He has 11 turnovers in 2 games.
Yeah,
Daniel. Now it's the start of the season. This could very easily be. This is their new guys playing together for the first time. A lot of teams are turning the basketball over to start the season, right?
Or you can say that they're not playing against the best competition that they're going to play on their schedule right now either. So you can look at it from either side.
Right. So, and 11 turnovers in 2 games, and it's kind of like, whoa. That is that a trouble sign?
Mm.
And they need to kind of watch. Is this a sign that maybe you can't do as much of that as you're going to want to try to do, and you got to scale it back? Or is this, you think this is just a sign that this is an early season thing that happens to teams?
Yeah. It's just, I think for me, if it was my team, I'm kind of making some changes right now. Not wholesale changes, but we're going to tweak a couple things. But because 11 turnovers is too many from a guy that's not a primary ball handler, right? So the sample size is small. I agree with that. It's only been 2 games. But at the same time, man, how many games do you wait before you make a change as far as that wrinkle or that philosophy in your offense? So we'll see. For me, 11 is too many in 2 games. I would want him to lean more into the grittier parts, the tougher parts of the game that's going to allow him to be successful once Big Ten play starts. Like there were a couple possessions where you watch him, the ball is just coming off the rim, whizzing around his head. He doesn't really see it. You know what I mean? A couple slow rotation. So I would rather see him lean into those parts of the game and build your way and play your way into the playmaking aspect of your game. One thing I know about sports, about basketball, if you lose yourself into the defensive aspects, into the team aspects of the game, you normally tend to play better as an individual as well. But you could see him kind of chasing it a little bit. He took a bad 3 towards the end of the game last time, and then, like you said, the 6 turnovers. You're kind of chasing it a little bit right now. I think let the game come to you a little bit more. Rely on your teammates to help you get in positions to do those things, and then he'll be fine. But right now, he's chasing a little bit too much.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if somebody asked you a little bit earlier. They want your opinion on this before we get out of here. Daniel, they said, Daniel, thank you, Ben. Ben already on it. Daniel, what are your thoughts on 5-star combo guard Trey McKenney from the city of Flint, picking the University of Michigan?
Hey, that's a great get. That's a big time pickup for Dusty, right? To come in, only been on a job less than a year, and you're able to go into your backyard, basically Flint, and get a 5-star guard that can come in and change your program and change the perception of your program, right? So the kid comes in and he's able to play it. I think the system that Dusty runs is going to be good for him as well, right? He's going to play fast. He's going to get up and down. He has an NBA skill level already as a young high school kid. He has an NBA body already as a high school kid as well. So for him, I think the challenge when he gets to college, hey, what parts of my game transfer immediately so I can immediately help the team? But the more he works on his foot speed and his explosion, Sam, and his quickness, the kid gonna be a problem. He has a nice game already. So that's a good pickup.
So I was talking about him. I said, Trey, been watching him for a long time. His aunt Heather is one of my best friends in the world. Been knowing her since elementary school. So we just went to the whenever we go to anyway, we hang. That's my day one, right? And so his dad John watches, and so when I was talking about Trey on the Basketball Insider last week, we were giving a scouting report, and I said, Trey reminds me of a bigger version of Jalen Brunson at the same set. I'm not saying he's gonna be Jalen Brunson. All right, let's be clear. But when you watch his skill set, big body, 3-level scorer. I mean, can play through contact, mid-range game, facilitator, can play in the post, can shoot the three, can set others up, high IQ, not explosive above the rim guy. So I said all those things. What did John pick out when I said he's not an explosive?
Not above,
That's what John picked out. That's what John picked out.
That's what dads do.
So John said, so he texted me. He said, Trey done got bouncy. Watch out, he doing Pilates. So let me be clear.
The one thing he was my favorite player to watch, man. And this is when he was young. I'm just like, why does this young man have such control over this basketball game? Why is he always in the right position? Why does he always make the right play, but still somehow has like the dog to get his as well? It was super impressive to watch. And I'm very glad that he's going to be a Wolverine, because when I was watching him, I'm like, man, this is a special talent, and not just scoring and all that kind of his temperament, his attitude throughout the games. It's like it was super impressive, and that was when he was young. He's just getting older and better now. So he's legit. He is a super, super, super good kid too. Man, great family, Michigan family. So I know, man, that not that they were pushing him to Michigan. He could do his own thing, but that was like, that made the family like, yeah, he's staying home too. So that took it to another level. I know.
That's a kid, Sam. That's a kid that if Dusty's here earlier, right? Not saying that he should have been, but if I don't know what the relationship was with Juwan, but that's a kid that if Michigan would have had him in the fold earlier, you can build around and get other 5-star kids to come play with him. 100%. So I don't know how late it is in the process and what else is available. But he's definitely a kid that once you get him in your recruiting class, he's a guy that can attract other guys as well.
You watch Silosaurus yet at all, Daniel?
No, I haven't got a chance. I heard she's been frying people, but I haven't seen it though.
Frying people. So watch her.
Okay.
Watch her so we can let's back up. They saying that she's the Canadian Caitlin Clark.
You talking about the girl that had 27 against South Carolina?
Yeah.
Hey, if we got us a Caitlin Clark, shoot.
Man, let's not even talk about Caitlin Clark, because obviously he missed the boat on that one. We tried to tell you. I didn't miss the boat on
anything. I said what I said was what came to be true. Only place they got them type of numbers was in Indiana. Hey, you notice every time they said something, it's the most watched basketball game since, and the since was the time period that I was telling you about. You wasn't born yet though, so we'll talk about that later. Hey, I know you wasn't born back then.
You saw me duck when I said Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Daniel got revisionist history.
I don't have revisionist history. I'm telling you that every time they mentioned the stat that she broke, that they matched or came close to, it was the most fans since, not the most fans ever, the most fans since this. So
We done
I
touched
think
the nerve of this man.
we both could be right.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can.
All right. We gotta get out of here. Before we do. What's this? What's this?
That's DG content from back in the day.
What is this?
Lord have
Dude,
mercy.
wait till you see. This is hilarious content. As you can see, hilarious footage. December 18th. That was probably like 2011, 12. And we in locker room singing. And Jabril Black got too familiar, Sam. I don't know if the song took over him. He ain't got no shirt on. He trying to give me a hug with no shirt on. I'm like, hold up. It was hilarious. But we used to do stuff like this all the time.
Okay, all right.
Let's
hit play. Let's see what would appear on the passes platform if DG had one.
Just like me, it's too bad that you can't see that you got it. Man, where your shirt at? Hey, I felt like
this dude just wanted. Hey, there are no women. There might be like 2 women in the chat right now. This man just want to show his abs on the video.
Oh, I don't even have abs no more, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Video.
Everybody know when you're an athlete, you got abs. Back then, I ain't got them no more. Hey, but I was like, hey, Daniel, I felt like I was on Money Talk. Was that Money Talks? Wait,
baseball low grab you
from behind. I said, oh, no,
like
you get too comfortable. But y'all like how I stayed in character right after, though.
Did
he grab you like this? Or was it like this?
Hey, buddy definitely grabbed you like this.
Man, Jabril, if you don't get your hand, unhand me now.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, passes you can put that on the passes platform. You can put
That's the earliest DG content
right there. Man, why you do that?
Whose side are you on, man?
Look at it. Look at it.
People
are
look
at him trying to jump.
That.
No, man.
People are going to screen grab you now, DG.
That's good.
No.
Ben, you know what, Ben? We might be done, man.
Hey, what's that? That's that new R&B group right there. That's last edition.
No. You are a boy, Damon.
Hey, forget 112. 112. That's 230 right there. What y'all got going on?
Man, Jabril was Jabril, good dude. He just got he was feeling it too much. I'm a good singer from time to time. I hit a note and it went, I don't know what happened. But as you saw my response, I was not in cahoots with whatever he had going on.
Man. Hey.
All right.
I figure out what position he played. Why he have no abs? What position he play?
He was a DN. He was a D lineman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. He's in character too. Listen, if you need to get to your destination on time, every time, Golden Limo will get you there. Sean Duvall's company, they have become not only locally renowned, but world renowned for quality of service. When we say the Golden Limo difference, we are talking about excellence, not only from coast to coast, but overseas. When we went to Paris and we went to Rome, these people knew about Golden Limo. You know how I know? Because when we got off the plane, it said Sam Webb, Golden Limo, waiting on us. Golden Limo had
gold letters.
They have
not gold plated. 14-karat gold letters.
Golden Limo had vehicles waiting for us in Rome and Paris. That is the Golden. And the service, you don't carry a bag. They are 15 minutes early. Executive transport, airport transport, game day transport in Ann Arbor. You might think, yeah, they can't navigate you through all that game day traffic. Man, they pick me up outside the tunnel on game day. Well, the car service, does that. Uber doesn't do that. Golden Limo does. When Michigan football needs to travel, they ride on Golden. When Michigan basketball needs to travel, they ride on Golden. Right? They use the big luxury motor coaches. Most of us, we might just need individual transport. So they'll send one of their luxury SUVs. Maybe you need group transport. They might send a Sprinter. Maybe you need party transport for like a bachelor party or a wedding party. They'll send one of their party buses. Whatever level of transport you need, Golden Limo can meet those needs. So if you're in Southeast Michigan, they got you covered. Anywhere in the United States, they can serve you through their transportation partners. So book through Golden Limo, go to goldenlimo.com and make sure you mention the golden ticket when you do that. Did you know the Golden Limo? They're proud supporters of Michigan NIL. Their brand ambassador this year is none other than Zeke Berry, who balled out this week.
He did. I was super happy for him.
Balled out.
Very happy for him.
Now, I was happy for the young brother too.
Because he was up against it for quite some time.
That's right. But he is the Golden Limo brand ambassador this week. When you mention the golden ticket, when you book through Golden Limo, a portion of your reservation fee will be donated to Michigan NIL. It'll also be a portion of it will be donated to a great veterans charity called Freedom River. So again, make sure when you need ground transportation, you use Golden Limo. Mention the golden ticket, whether you're in Southeast Michigan, of course, or anywhere in the United States. Ben, please drop that track.
If you have ground transportation needs, get to your destination on time, every time with Golden Limo. Ride like the Wolverines. Feel like a Wolverine when you ride with Golden Limo, the proud transportation partner for many of Michigan's sports teams and the primary transportation provider for Michigan Wolverines football. All you have to do to book your golden ticket reservation is go to goldenlimo.com/golden ticket or call their team at 734-668-8282 and mention golden ticket to book your transportation reservations today.
Folks, I hope
Hold on. Sam, you forgot to mention one thing.
What's that? No,
Code 2-Strap Sam. You forgot. Code 2-Strap Sam. It gets you half off, and Sam gonna pay the other half. So get the golden ticket. Sam gonna donate to NIL because he got that bag. Don't forget it. He got big bank, and the bank bounce sometimes when he writes.
Only one of us got a helicopter.
The bank bounce, y'all.
Folks,
the bank.
Only one of us has a helicopter pad on their roof. It's not me and it's not Daniel. So
that's not true. That's fabricated for sure. That's fabricated for sure. 2-Strap Sam if you need the code, everybody. Everybody know. And remember, this code works worldwide with anything you want to buy. Right? Anything. You go to a restaurant, hey, 2-Strap Sam. Yep, we're gonna send it right on the. I'm just telling you.
Just watch. So Tim Brando tweeted that DG is going to be doing the Michigan Northwestern game. So watch when he rolls. Watch the motorcade that rolls through Ann Arbor when DG comes to town. I'm just telling y'all. Just watch. Watch in the press box.
You better not come with them Gus Johnson suits on. I'll tell you that.
Entourage in the press box when DG runs through. Just watch. I'm just telling you.
Sam, hey, don't come out there like Gus Johnson, like an old Detroit player wearing 3 different patterns on your suit, tie, and shirt. Oh, that's some,
Daniel. I love you. I love you, and I appreciate you. DG don't need no help on that tip.
I'm just telling you, if you come out there with 3 different patterns on, I'm frying you when we come back.
DG don't need no help on what to wear on Saturdays, sometimes Fridays. Let's be clear.
This said, wait, DG really got it? Yeah, on the roof, a rooftop gym.
He is a liar, and the truth ain't in him. He sits on a throne of lies. Look right
the boy
underneath
got
his
his own money.
Throne of lies.
The boy got his own money.
All right, folks, we gotta get out of here. We appreciate all 2,400 of you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week on the next edition of Steady Droppin Dimes.
2,400. Y'all came on today, didn't y'all?
We came out.
Sure.